somebody getting 65 to 85 an hour. 85 an hour right now at 500 hours is $42,000. So 42 grand in labor, right? I mean, that's what's chewing it up.
Yo, what up, C10 Nation? This is Ronnie from C10 Talk. C10 Talk is one of those podcast things. We talk C10 trucks, tech, and people. That's right, people. Because it's the people that make the scene so rad-ass. The trucks are cool, but the people are cooler. You can check out the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, C10Talk.com, and anywhere else you listen to your favorite podcasts. Thanks for checking out our latest video and being part of the C10 Nation.
Overreaction Monday. So this is something I've been talking about. Of course, me and Sam talked about it, and I think this is a pod segment I need to start doing, maybe going live and chatting it up about this stuff. I love it, man. It is so much fun. Being local here in Phoenix, we're spoiled. So I've been going to Barrett for 26 years, and I can tell you guys that in the old days, it was a big deal, right? So, I mean, I have pictures of trucks that I would take, old school, camera pictures, get the camera, take it out there. I'll never forget, there was a crew cab. It was a 67 C20, and the guy made the crew cab. It was probably one of the first crew cabs. Made it a shorty and a dually. So you had a crew cab, short bed, dually, red. You guys have probably seen it over the years. It was amazing back then, right? Had the wood console kind of thing up top, and I'll never forget seeing that at Barrett. But what's happening is we are ruining it in the sense that everything that's cool from 12 to 25 is cool again. So people that are our age bracket, they want the cool stuff. So when you think about it and you think about what's cool today versus what you might have saw at the auction 15 years ago, the Cudas, the Hemis, the Camaros, those are now second fiddle. So I've seen it happen. I don't miss the auction. And 3 years ago, 1969, 70 Cuda was not a Hemi, went for like 70, and an LS swapped 86 C10 square body went for like 68. And you're like, how the hell is that possible? Well, that's what's happening. So it's the future is now for I always kind of blame it on the class of 83 to the class of 88, right? So they couldn't afford the muscle cars. They couldn't afford the cool cars that were so popular. The first gen Camaros, maybe a beefed up second gen Camaro. So they're like, hey, shit, we can't afford this. So let's go find a square body. Let's lift it up. Let's put 35s on it. I mean, hell, back then they were running 40s, 44s, the Hogs, the Swampers, and they made them cool. So being a kid in the mid 80s and seeing the older kids drive these trucks and SUVs, Blazers, Broncos, you name it, you're like, God damn, I want that someday. Well, that someday is now. That someday is right now. So these guys and girls and families, they've got the money, they've got the disposable income, and it's happening. So I can't wait to hear what you guys chime in. Anybody who wants, I'm going to let you in. Let's talk about it, because I'm not saying a $350,000 truck makes sense, but even like the Retro Mod 72 that Vocal did, that is also special blend, right? So there's a couple different things there. Sean might be tuned in, I'm not sure. But you've got a brand new chassis. If you think about the Legend series, so Roadster Shop Legend series, you're looking at 90 grand. So you get a modern day chassis, modern day powertrain. You've got a brand new motor, brand new transmission. Everything is modern, and then you're wrapping it in old metal. Well, you're at 90 grand just to buy that. 90 grand. So if you do the math, it's going to chew up your money so fast. And that's where I wonder where some of these guys that they want to criticize, and I'm okay with it. I think that it's fun. I think that it's a It's where we're at. If you want to buy a truck and you still want to get a truck and you want to build it yourself, then do that. Have fun. Enjoy that experience. That's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, some of these people have disposable income and they don't want to wait. They are like, I want it now. I'm going to go buy the truck. I like that truck. I like that Blazer. I like that SUV. I like that car. It doesn't matter. The one thing I will say, just kind of jotting down some notes, I'd love to hear what guys think on this, but this one is a little bit of a pet peeve for me, is when they always include the pricing, I should say the fees. So it's like, why are people including the fees? Like, so that's just one more thing where people get a little fired up. They're, oh, it was 300. Well, 330. Then they'll say, oh, I sold this for 330. No, you didn't. You did not get 330. So there was a time where people were selling stuff at like 100, and then they're writing down, oh, I sold it for 110. I sold it for 112. I sold it for whatever. No, you didn't. You didn't sell it for that much. That's the fees, right? The grocery store doesn't pocket net all that money. So when you think about net, gross, and how much people are saying, there are a lot of fees, and Barrett gets a lot of fees. What's some other things? What about shop labor? What do you think about what somebody's paying for shop labor? And at your area, I got to shout out Chi-Town. I just saw her come on. That's my daughter. She's out of Coastal Carolina. I just saw that she joined. So what's up, Chi? Hope you're having fun out there. Did just talk to her today. All right, back to the rant. So overreaction Monday, Ronnie's rants. Let's chalk it up. Let's see what's going on. If you guys want to tune in and give your 2 cents and debate or talk, I'm all for it, because if you think about what your shop rate is wherever you're at, what's your shop rate? What's your shop rate? You're the garage builder. You're Mike Losh. You own a company, and you're going to work, and you're going to take time away from your business, and you're going to work. Are you $25 an hour? Are you $50 an hour? Shop rate in Phoenix used to be 85, and now it's like 125. I know that's crazy. So what do you think about a guy who pays, he's in Cali, he's on the West Coast, and he's paying, Cali's its own issue, but $165 an hour. $165 an hour. So when you think about like somebody getting 65 to 85 an hour, 85 an hour right now at 500 hours is $42,000. So 42 grand in labor, right? I mean, that's what's chewing it up. So when you think about shop labor, wherever you're at, that might end up being part of the issue. So a guy who has to pay shop labor in Cali is like, dude, I don't want to wait 3 years. I want to drop the $100, the $200, the $300 on this truck, car, SUV, whatever it is, and maybe I'll change a few things up. But at the end of the day, I think that the prices are going up fast. Paint is going up fast. I talked to a painter the other day, good buddy of mine, high-end painter, and he's like, dude, my paint costs, my expenses for paint alone are triple what they used to be. So 5 years ago, what were these guys paying for paint, supplies, and how does that affect your paint job? What can you get a paint job for? Let me know. What if you're a painter or you are a consumer and you are paying for a paint job right now? I'm going to say it doesn't have to be an eye candy SEMA paint job. Let's say 7-8 paint job, body gap, disassembled, put together, back out on the road. What does that cost? So in my mind, if you think about a paint job, let's say you can get a paint job for 20 grand. Is that realistic to what you guys are seeing out there? Are you seeing that a paint job is 20? Is it more? So then you factor that in, right? So, okay, paint. So I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen, okay, Hoagie's in. Hoagie knows what's going on. Hoagie's saying 25 to 30, right? So in my mind, when I think about eye candy, I'm thinking, dude, that is 30 grand. A 30 grand paint job So let's back it off. Let's say you don't want that level of a paint job. You're like, hey, I just want to build this. I want to drive it. I want to enjoy it and be good to go. Okay. Well, back that up. So now I've got my truck or SUV, whatever it is, car, I don't care. So now I've got that in paint prison. Paint prison there's a reason why they call it paint prison. Okay. Not a year. So maybe 2 years. Okay. So you're thinking, all right, my little kid, I saw this sticker one time, genius marketing. A boat store is saying, hey, you only have 18 summers with your kid. You only have 18 summers with your kids. So you got a 10-year-old, you got a 12-year-old, you got a 15-year-old, you got some disposable income, or obviously a little bit more than disposable. And you're like, screw it. I could say 20, let's just say 30 grand. Hoagie said 50 for a Blazer. So let's say 30 grand and 2 years. Okay, so the time that you're looking to put it together, you're going to put it together. You got your chassis broke down. You're going to build it. You're going to go through your axles at your price, $0 an hour. And then 2 years of paint prison? Or do you just say, nah, I'm going to just go buy it. I'm going to go spend the money so I can enjoy it now. So I think that's where we get with this auction craziness. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you guys want to come in and give your 2 cents, let me know. Are we not able to do that? We used to be able to do that. I haven't seen anybody act like they want to join. So let me look here. Yeah, so let me see here. So if you guys want to join, just let me know. That's the rant, right? So another thing is, and I think Hoagie's out there, but Hoagie sold Blink for like 4 something 2 years ago. Well, Blink just sold again for 300, right? Am I looking at that? Two-wheel drives cracked me up. So two-wheel drives in our market, there was a two-wheel drive that sold at Barrett, and I don't think it did that well. I think it was like 160. And when you say 160, you're like, holy shit. But that's a complete painted, rebuilt truck. And then you see some trucks that do not deserve the amount of money they're also getting at Barrett. So that's the consumer. And here's where I always have a problem with that. If you are building shit trucks and you are trying to sell shit trucks, then I get frustrated because you're going to piss everybody else off, and our scene is going to change. Our scene will change because people will get frustrated that they got screwed. And I always say, well, whose responsibility is that? Is that you, the consumer? Is that me to educate you? Is that the seller? Well, the seller's trying to make money, right? And I've had good discussions with other sellers that are in our scene, and they've got some, maybe a bad rap, maybe a reputation for selling some stuff that isn't quite to the level that they're saying it is. Okay, well, if you continue to do that and you sell shitty stuff, then those people are going to either pass on that shit, or they're going to get butthurt. They're going to get pissed. They're going to think that the community sucks, and so on and so forth. So I don't know whose responsibility that is. I will say that there are builders that go to Barrett. There's builders that out there. Like, let me think of a builder that we know is a really Trey 5. We know Trey 5 builds high-end shit. Local guy. Obviously, Big Ten Bowman, to me, the guy is very, very meticulous. Hoagie, there's a reason why they have, they've been vetted. They're not selling shit and then taking the guy's money and then all of a sudden they're gone. Where the hell are they? What happened to that guy? Where's my money? Where's my deposit? Where's my car? I've obviously done podcasts where people are getting, their car or truck is not in paint prison anymore. It's gone. And they're trying to put it together in pieces. They're trying to figure out what happened to it. So I think there's so many variables that when we see things posted and we just see, oh, that truck is $200,000, there's more that goes into it that I don't feel like we're taking it in. Are there some people that are overpaying for stuff at auctions? 100%. 100%. But that doesn't mean that it's you. And that doesn't mean that it has to be you. And another thing that we know for sure is that just because somebody sells a Blazer, a C10, a K10 for $100,000, your truck is not worth $100,000. It's just what it is, right? And you may think that it is, and it may be to you. So another thing that I'm surprised I don't see more of is high-end chassis, high-end drivetrain, and more patina, because then you can really enjoy it. I've always kind of thought that sometimes these chassis that are very overdone and very expensive, from a perspective of a four-wheel drive, it's like, okay, that thing could be, at the sand dunes, it could be at the Ultra 4 races because of the way that it's built. But then is a guy going to spend let's say $50,000 on a paint job to go get coffee, and then next thing you know, your coffee getter is like, oh shit, I can build an Ultra 4 Blazer or SUV or K10 or whatever. And am I going to really take that $50,000 paint job and am I going to take it to King of the Hammers? Am I going to take it to the dunes? What am I going to do with it? That's why you guys can go buy a supercar, right? Or a sand rail, really, is what I'm trying to think. But it is funny how I just feel like the people have the disposable income. The trucks aren't going anywhere. The trucks are here for the next at least 5, if not 10 years. And then I think the next thing that will happen is you'll start to see, and I think you're already seeing it, you're thinking like some of those imports, right? The Fast and the Furious, and those were really a big deal for folks like the young kids. So again, 12 to 25. So for our generation, for kids that graduated from 85 to 05, I mean, and maybe even a little bit more than that. And now when they get that disposable income and they can afford the $100,000+ vehicle, I get asked all the time, literally almost on the daily, where can I buy a truck? Where can I buy a truck? Okay, first and foremost, what's the questions? I think I need to do a whole series on this. It would save some time and it would be fun, right? So I always use this guy at work, Willie, good friend of mine, and he's been telling me he wants a truck for 14 years. No bullshit. I've talked about it on the pod. And he wants to get a C10. Okay, cool. What C10 do you want? All right, let's narrow it down. This is a C10 that I want. I like this body style. Okay, you want to go up? You want to go down? You want long? You want short? I want a short bed. Okay, let's find you a long bed so you can afford it, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay, now how low do you want to go? Or how high do you want to go? So there's so many different variables that we have to look into it. And then another thing that I would really like to kind of say, another thing I've written down here is for you guys that have never been to an auction, or Barrett-Jackson for that. I got a great story. There used to be an auction a mile up the road from me in Gilbert, Arizona, for anybody who's been in Gilbert or Mesa for a long time. And another buddy of mine, he buys a Corvette. It's like an 86, which we call the poor man's Corvette. He's drinking, he's feeling good, maybe some old Oli or something like that back in the day, and he's kicking back some barley pops. Well, then he goes to raise his hand, and he wasn't trying to buy the car, he bought the car. The point being is, at Barrett, if you're a bidder, you get 10 free drinks a day. 10 free drinks a day. I mean, you start drinking 6 drinks, you're feeling really good, and you're thinking, hell, double those up. You want a double? Yeah, give me a double. You want a double? Yeah, give me a double. Hey, I'm not even going to drink all my drinks, so you might as well double me up. Well, then what happens? You start spending money because you're inebriated. I love that. It's such a fun experience. And if you've never been and you've got a bad taste in your mouth about the prices, dude, come to the auction. It is the funnest. It is such an adult Disneyland. And Barrett-Jackson is truly a party with an auction around it. They've mastered it. It's a party with an auction around it. And if you come out and you don't have fun, dude, I'll give you your money back, because within reason, for the first 5 customers, I got no skin in the game on this, but it is an absolute blast. So you're fired up, you're drinking, you're having a good time, and you're like, I always wanted that. I wanted that truck. I wanted that Blazer. I wanted that SUV. I wanted that Chevelle. Whatever it is, Boom, and it starts. Another story. I was 3 years ago. My uncle was from out of town, was here, and I said, "Dude, we got to get you to the auction." Older guy, and he's got a buddy who's got like 7 cars. I've been to his garage. He's got like 7 cars. They're both from out of state. Well, we end up saying, "Hey, we got to leave. We're going home." And he says, "I'm going to buy that Corvette, right? But I'm not going to pay." And I think it was like a 63. I don't know Corvettes that well, but mid 60s, 65 Corvette. And he says, "I'm not going to pay more than $35,000. Quote unquote. I'm sitting right there. "I'm not going to pay more than $35,000. All right, good luck. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow." We come back tomorrow. How much did he pay? How much did he pay? He paid like $38,000, $39,000 plus fees. And we're like, "Dude, what happened? What happened? I thought you weren't going to go over $35,000. This is exactly what he said. There was one other guy, and he goes, "I was not going to let that son of a bitch have it." So now you've got testosterone, you've got dudes freaking drinking, having fun, and it's exactly what happens. We've been there. Put it in perspective. Have you been in there when you're buying something on eBay and you're like, "Yeah, I really want that." And then you're like, "Okay, I'm going to set $40, $50, $100, $400, $4,000. I'm not saying a truck. I'm saying anything. So you go to buy it, and then sure enough, you buy it, and you're like, or you're getting ready to buy it, and then all of a sudden it starts moving, and you're like, "Oh man," it's happened to all of us. We've upped our ante, and then you're like, the best thing you could do is set it and leave it, right? Set it, forget it, whatever they say. So it's hard. It is definitely a hard thing. Is there anybody out there that wants to come in, and are we not able to come in? Because I'm surprised by now we haven't had some people come in. If you want to come in, exactly how the auctions work, guilty. I'm just trying to look through this. Let's see here. I'm just trying to think why it's not coming in. What else do I have? Dan Glauser. I don't know. I tagged Dan, and I'm not sure if Dan's out there, but he sold a Blazer. He said, "Hey, I think I could get some of this wrong, but I'm pretty sure." He said that he had 200 in a Blazer. It was a black and white, like KMC wheels. Very, very well done. Beautiful, beautiful Blazer. And I've seen plenty of Dan's builds over the years. He said, "Hey, I got 200 in this thing." So he's got 200. I think it went for 150. So I felt super bad. All right, we got Mama Losh. Let's see here. View requests. Not taking over her phone, and we're not going to get scammed out of this. Let's see here. Did she come in? Where'd she go? Maybe she didn't mean to. Oh, there she is.
I just have to say, I think some of it is
before you say anything, I love you. I hope you had a good time out here.
I had a good time. I'm sad I didn't get to hug you.
See? There you go. I knew it. I knew we were going to get duped by the sloshes.
We're always a twofer.
That's right. That's right. You guys looked fantastic. I'm not sure what hotel, but obviously there were some pictures. Mike was doing a selfie, and there was Sarah with her legs in her boots. I didn't notice. Sorry, Mike. But I didn't know you guys were coming out, or I would have made a point to meet up. What do you guys – that was your first time, right, at Barrett?
First time.
Break it down.
Hey, I think people get out of control with the buying because the lights start flashing, and it's freaking exciting.
When it hits 200 and it starts going boom, boom, boom.
I mean, I would be a sucker for it. Chandler Losh just joined.
Oh yeah, Chandler's like, my parents are on.
Yeah, she's probably getting out of there real quick. Anyway, so, that's all I'm going to say.
Another thing too, I wonder, is when you watch some of the auctions, the auctioneers are funny too, because they just so we're clear for the audience, they have a number in front of them that they are trying to get to, and you'll see where they'll do the auction, and they'll they'll stop, and then they'll say, "All right, this is square peg. It's got, it was built by this guy. It's got this chassis. It's got this suspension. It was in this magazine. It was a SEMA, 2010, da-da-da." They go through everything, and they hype it back up. So when you see that, they're trying to get to that number. Remember, the more money the vehicle sells for, the more money everybody else makes.
Yeah, I figured it was a commission at a certain level or something.
Yeah, well, that's what we were asking. Does the commission increase once it passes like 200,000 or 300,000?
Well, I think that they do a lot of that, and we could ask Hoagie and some of those guys who have sold for that, obviously that high level. But I think what they do is they already know what they're, hey, the builder or seller says this is what I'm hoping to get, right? And then they do that and they put the time slot. We should probably have an auctioneer on one of these days and say, okay, how does this whole thing work to break it down? I don't know if it's secrets in the trade, but I will say that, it is funny when you think about how they'll pause it. You got to have the right time. I was at work on Saturday and we were watching it live, and it was kind of crazy because after like 8:30, it's almost like you're no longer in the sweet spot. Like
Yeah.
everybody's tired.
Definitely.
They're all drunkered up for the day, and so then I don't know if a lot of the audience noticed, but then Sunday, and I was blown away by this, and Barrett posted it. There was another K5 that sold.
Yeah.
Sold for like 235 on Sunday. So somebody obviously saw that and said, I want that thing.
Yeah, Friday night at 8:30, we stayed and watched Hill's truck run. That was awesome. But the crowd at 8:30 was probably a third of what it was at like 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And I thought it would get more as the night went. I thought 8:30 would be prime time, but it seemed like the crowd was way thin by then.
What do you think? What do you, I have a perspective, but what do you think as newcomers and walking around and seeing the whole show? What do you think? Why is that?
I don't have a clue. I thought it would be prime time. I thought that's when they would be really hitting. I don't know what to think if they're all too drunk and gone by then.
Dude, because at noon, I don't know what time you guys got there, but at noon, people start. You guys saw the bar outside. You guys were walking around. It's a positive circus. It is so much fun. There's no shortage, from the shopping for the gals to the shopping for the guys to the furniture, the taxidermy, get a lodge in Alberta, Canada for a week and do this. And there's so many fun things to do. But I think by the end of the day, you start to be like, all right. Yeah. And then unless there's something that you're out. Yeah, exactly. And then unless there's something that you're just like, I gotta have that blazer, that bourbon, that truck, whatever it is, then they're like, all right, I'm done. And they probably have dinner plans with their buddies, and they're like, all right, what time are we going to the steakhouse? What time are we going to the cigar bar? What time are we going to the lady, wherever they go, like whatever they're doing. But yeah, so besides the auction, what did you guys think of all the other dog and pony shows?
We totally did not expect everything they had for sale there. The furniture, mattresses. You go to Barrett Jackson to buy a mattress.
How about
fur
the boats?
coats?
Oh my God!
Baby grand pianos.
Yep. Taxidermy, dead animals. You can get the chairs at the mall that that rub your back and.
Ooh, the shaker machines, the shaker weight machine.
Yeah.
I saw some dudes testing it out. I stood and watched.
Oh my God.
It was fun walking through the tents to see the stuff that had stickers on what it had already sold for, and just seeing all that stuff and be like, oh, wow. I think there's some bargains the first few days. I think there's some decent stuff.
No, you're exactly right. We always call it Truck Tuesday. So Monday is all the antiques and cool stuff. Tuesday, Wednesday, you can definitely find bargains on Tuesday, Wednesday for sure. I think you can find bargains all day long on at the beginning of the week. And then more heavy hitters start coming in. And I don't know all the numbers, but I remember talking to a guy. He said Thursday, Friday for Barrett, for Scottsdale Airport, sometimes that airport, which is right there, they have to route folks to Sky Harbor and then Goodyear, because so many people come in, at that time. And people with big money, maybe small wieners. I don't care. I don't care what they're doing with the shake weight. I don't care. But it is a good time. Yeah. And I'm glad you guys had a good time. And it is cool. Like for the audience, what they're saying is there's about 5 tents, humongous tents full of stuff that's went throughout the week. So you can walk up, read it. You can play a game with your buddies, your wife. and be like, all right, let me look at it. Let me read it. Okay, let's see what that went for. Boom, right there.
Yeah.
50 grand, 35 grand, 20 grand. And
The live bands, all the food.
It was fun.
Everything. It's a really neat
I
experience.
was so bummed. I love Sammy Hagar. And then I don't know if you guys were able to go, but Friday night he was there playing in the arena. So a lot of people don't end up knowing about this other arena. It's crazy. It's where the equestrian arena is and where the rodeo is, and it's right next to the stage. It's to the east, and it's where they had
we went over there. That's where all the Broncos and
Barrett Cup. That's where the cup stuff
cars
was.
were all-
Oh, okay, okay.
We went there. He's just clueless.
Yeah. No, he was having a good time.
That too.
I was just drooling over that bare metal 59, I think, Impala.
Yeah, that thing was
A work
awesome.
of art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were also quite proud of Square Peg. We missed it. We didn't get there till the next, but proud that 10 years later, she's still looking fine. I can't wait to see her at your show.
That was
hopefully.
cool. I talked to the guy that ended up selling it, and because I was wondering who he bought it through, because SDHQ had it for years down here, which is Super Dirty headquarters. They had it, and then he bought it from them, and then obviously I think he had it for a few years. So
Yeah, he had it for 5 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so that's cool that you guys got to kind of reconnect with that. How did that feel?
Oh, that's really fun.
You didn't want to drive. You didn't want to drive it home.
Well, yes, but Cloud 9 and Cloud 911 are kind of taking precedence right now.
I thought it was Cloud 9.5.
Oh yeah, Cloud 9.5 and Cloud 911.
Yeah. So then I was wondering if you could have got Square Peg. I'm like, how fun would that be to go through and then do a few things to it and freshen it up?
That would be fun.
What would you do? What would you do to it, Mike? Well, if I said here you have 20 grand, you bought it. What would you do? What would you change up?
Engine. I'd put supercharged LS in it. I mean, it's got an LS in it, but I would probably just go to a bigger battery engine.
So I could do some burnouts.
Yeah. Freaking Mama Losh and Square Peg. Oh my God, that'd be Did you talk to the new owner? Is he local or where was he?
I don't know. I didn't get to talk. I just talked to Frank Walsh, the guy that sold it. I talked to him about it, but I don't know who bought it. But somebody told me he was local, but they didn't tell me who it was.
Well, maybe we'll see it because I mean, literally, a Super Duty headquarters is just up the road from where I'm at. So
cool.
We get to see it. We get to see it every now and then. So, and we're gonna see the Loshes here pretty soon in 2 months at the reunion.
Yes, sir. I think I got my first deposit today, as a matter of fact.
All right. Good. Well, we'll keep pushing that for the audience out there. If you're coming to the reunion, you need tubs, you need speaker boxes, you need buddy buckets. They got them, and we're gonna put the word out so they can pre-order.
Hugs too. We do hugs.
Oh yeah, fireball, and hugs.
Fireball and hugs.
Yeah. It's almost like if you guys remember Revenge of the Nerds. I'm always looking for Sarah to make sure I get my hug.
Yes.
All right, all right, you guys. I'm gonna keep yapping here. I appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, so let's get back to. I'm not sure what has to happen there. Let's see if they're gonna go. So, anything else we want to talk about? Anybody else want to join? Let's yap a little bit more about the. Let's see. Maybe I gotta kick you guys off. Let me see.
I don't know how to end it.
Yeah, let me see. I got Oro. I don't know what you have to do. Have no requests. I don't know if you just have to hit end. I'm not gonna hit end. Hey, you can stay on all you want. Oh, she turned it off. I guess it's meant to be. Oh, here you go. Right here, let's see what this does. All right, I think I got you. I think I kicked him off. Okay. So anybody else want to join? Anybody else have 5 cents, 10 cents, 2 cents about what you think about the auction? Again, I feel like that people essentially there is a lot of money and it does look crazy, but in the time, here's another perfect example. What it costs to build a truck is more than some of these sell for. All right, we got Merlot Fab Works. Let's see what he's got here. He wants to join in. Somebody was just asking about what's the difference between Mecum and Barrett. That's a great question. So Merlot Fab Works, give me a second. So somebody
Gotcha.
just asked, what's the difference between Mecum and Barrett? The number one thing in my mind is Mecum allows reserve. Barrett, for the most part, you get no reserve. So that's why I feel like Barrett does so good or so well, because everybody knows they're going to spend. They're going to that it's going to sell. There's going to be a hammer and it's going to sell. And I almost feel like stuff does better that way. But everybody's looking for a deal at Barrett because they know there is no reserve. So that's the difference. All right, what do you got, bro? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. So, I just want to clarify, I am not the builder of that C10 that sold for
Okay.
300. I'm actually building his 1966 Nova, which, he knows as well as I do how expensive this game gets. And
This is okay. So just clarify. This is the buyer, not the seller that bought the truck.
no. The seller that sold the
Yeah.
C10, I'm currently working on his next project.
Oh, okay. So not the builder, not the buyer, the build. Hey,
Yeah.
good for that dude. That dude freaking killed it, right? It.
Yeah.
I think what was shocking for all of us was whoever bought it, and to each his own. But that dude, I hate to say it, but that guy overpaid, and
Yeah.
your buddy, your customer, he got a good deal.
So, a couple of things to note about the truck.
No,
Sorry, I'm in my truck. I just
no,
got
that's all
home
right.
from the shop.
Thanks for coming up.
Um, is that, this truck was built 7 years ago. At that time, the GSI, the full chassis and all that weren't a craze like they are today. And for a background for everybody listening, I build C10s, I build, cars, trucks, everything. Sheet metal's my game, air suspension, coilover suspension. I do a kind of mix of all. Um, I posted a reel on TikTok, and it's just gone insane. It's got like 90,000 views, a million comments, and 90% of the comments are just negativity.
Are,
And
the reel you posted is about that truck?
yeah, it's the video I took from the auction standing on the
Okay.
block. And um, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you could build that truck for 50K, or it's not worth that," But a lot of people don't that haven't been to Barrett Jackson. I've been there many a years since I moved here 10 years ago.
Are you in
Um,
Arizona?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm right up in My shop's in Scottsdale. I'm on
Okay.
Scottsdale and Thomas.
So let me ask you this. What's your shop rate?
I'm 125 an hour,
Yeah,
which,
that's
just
about,
like you said,
yeah, I think
that's
that's
middle
the
of the
going
road.
rate for, yeah.
There's guys that are more expensive, and there's smaller shops that are less expensive. So knowing that, and I saw a comment on here. I've been watching for a little while. I finally got the balls to join, because I knew it was going to be a topic.
No, we're glad
Is
you did.
like,
I appreciate
you
it.
know, that that truck was painted by Lucky
Yeah.
Luciano, and Lucky painted the I can't remember what year, that tan coupe that was a Barrett Jackson Cup finalist. You know, so I was getting comments like, "Oh, the bedside doesn't match the doors and the fender," and I was like, I'm like, I think something's wrong with your eyes. You ought to go get them checked, because this guy painted this truck and painted the car that's in a Barrett Jackson top five. So, and running the numbers on that, like Hogan said, like, man, gone are the days of a $10,000 paint job. Like, you're getting a single stage paint job for 10K nowadays. Um, and if you want it perfect, like it was, like that truck is, you're in the $40,000-$50,000 range. And, everybody's like, oh, like, just for an LS, man, it's a LS3, a built LS3 with a Whipple supercharger. I don't know if anybody's looked at the price of a Whipple, but it's not cheap. You're looking at 35, 40 grand for that motor.
So would you say, and I love that, hey, you got the balls to do it, but do you think that was overpriced, or do you think that was, the truck, probably a lot more about it? Obviously, I will say that Lucky Luciano is a kind of a prominent painter here in the Valley. Would you say that that guy did overpay, or do you think it's about right?
I'm not going to say it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't think that it was overpaid. I think that, the way the auction works, they're going to pick the cars that they want for Friday and they want for Saturday that are going to bring attention. And obviously everybody knows C10s are in the market right now,
Yeah,
are the crave. C10s, Blazers, all that. They're the craze right now. And that truck is different than a lot of these other trucks. Yeah, it's not on a full chassis, but it's not a two-tone with the trim and all that. Everything's been shaved. It's a one-off color, and when you get two guys that want it, the guy that bought it, Brandon, actually was like, he came out and was talking to us the whole time I was detailing it in the line for the block, and was like, it's mine. Like, I'm buying it. And, when you get somebody that's that dead set on buying it, they're gonna go the limit. And if their bank account has the limit to go for it, then they're gonna.
yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and
And Barrett Jackson.
Hoagie just commented. It was such a good comment. How many people lost money and how many people made money? And there is people. I think like Dan Glauser. I think he lost money, and I think that there are people that lose money because you might be shooting for that hoagie bar or that high end bar, and you're building, like, and you're building, and you're like, okay, where do I keep it under 150 cost in hopes to make 220? So people don't realize there's a complete and total risk. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people don't think about that aspect. It's almost like the casinos at Bear Jackson, man. These cars have no reserve.
Yeah,
If some guy gets, say the price got up to 50 grand, and the guy's like, that's all I'm willing to pay for it, and nobody else bids on it. That truck is selling for 50 grand, and my client just lost his ass. Like, that's the
well,
risk you take.
and I hate to use this as an example, but we all watch Gas Monkey or Fast and Loud, and we saw Richard take bass on plenty of cars. And does he have to make it up somewhere else? Yeah, he does. And everybody's not always winning. I know that when we think about it and we focus in on those high dollar builds that we're like, holy shit, I can't believe it sold for that. So, yeah, I think it's really cool that you came on. And what's your first name?
Dante.
Dante. I think it's cool, Dante, because you're giving us a different perspective, because it's so easy to say, oh, look at this truck. I kind of made a joke. I said, dude, this dude's born in 67. He drove a 67. He had his first girlfriend in 67. In his high school, he drove that, and that's 67.
Yeah.
Something it doesn't matter. His money, his time, he gets to buy it. But like you said, you get 2-3 guys, and it only takes 2. That's what's so great. If you only have one, then you're like, damn it, right? And we've all heard stories where, somebody else is bidding for their buddy. And if you haven't heard, there's speculation that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you gotta bid this up. I gotta get this. I gotta buy this back. I know another guy, he sold something, and we were kind of talking about that, and he said he was in it for like 63, and he sold it for 54. So I'm not going to say who it was, but he said, hey, I was into this vehicle for 63. I sold it for 54. He was like, dude, I wanted to, have somebody bid it up for me or whatever, because some people are losing money.
Yeah. And, like, so talking to the owner, the new owner of the truck, he was just completely thrilled about it. There's that different level of people, that you're going to get your airbag people on full chassis that want that. And then you're going to get the guys that don't want to, that have heard the horror stories of shops doing hack job work, your truck's airing out overnight, and some people just don't want to deal with it. So you get, that truck is on full ride tech all the way around. He's like, this truck is good. I can adjust the height if I want to. It takes about 10 minutes. I lowered it when I was detailing it at my shop, just because I was like, I think it's going to look a little better if it sits a little lower in the rear, get it a little level. And, some people just don't want the headache with that. My daily's on coilovers, and I love it. I wouldn't
So
airbag it for the world.
let me ask you this. This is a really good debate. Sam and I have a lot. You're in the industry. You're a builder. My perspective on Barrett is that K10s, K5s, stuff that goes up sells for a lot more than stuff that goes down. What is your perspective on that, and why do you feel like that is?
Um, so I think, like one person in specific, Hogan's trucks are fantastic builds. You know, they're all lifted trucks, and it's starting to become, like you said, that younger generation. Like when I'm only 33. When I grew up, I was like, oh hell yeah, like lifted square bodies, like lifted trucks, like that was my thing. And then the industry has kind of changed me as a builder. I'm like, yeah, lay pinch, lay body, like I want to see this thing as low as it can go. And there's a lot of people my age that have money. The new owner that bought the truck, he's probably can't be more than a couple of years older than me. And and Hogan's doing all kinds of awesome work. They're not all the same build, none of that. And again, in a sense, like with Lowe at Barrett, there was a couple of bag trucks that didn't do as well as people thought they were gonna do. That were in the same time frame that my client Darren's truck went across. That you know, and some of them were happy because it went for what it did. But I was even like, I don't think that went for what it should have. It should have got at least another 20, 30K.
Well, that's
You know,
why I love what your perspective on that, Dante, and I'll tell you why. That green and white C10, it was kind of a sublime green and white, right? So it's bagged.
yeah,
So I've been going to Barrett for 26 years now. So K10s always do better, and Blazers always do better. And even in this auction, the two-wheel drive Blazer did not bring near the money. And here's what I think. I think that the older dudes that are buying this shit are like, dude, when you lift something up, they put springs under it, they do a few things. It's less fab, it's less stuff that's really getting crazy. So the vehicle as a whole is almost kind of stockish. Now, granted, we know that a lot of those Blazers and trucks that you saw are not stockish.
yep,
But I feel like once you cross a line from a fab perspective. So when you think about Brandon's new truck, Ride Tech, even a C-notch, that's it. It's just C-notch. Now, don't get me wrong. They're doing coils or changing out some stuff up front, but it's not being fully bagged. It's not laying pinch, and you're not getting a big trans tunnel. You're not lifting the bed all the way up.
yeah,
So there's a lot of things there that I wonder if over time that older guy, that whoever, if young guys like Brandon are going to be like, like it becomes more acceptable for a bag truck at Barrett. I think it will, because I think that just like guys like you, they're like 35 years old, you're going to get some money and you're like, dude, I want that truck. Or however, obviously guys are building bag shit all the time. I mean, there's a reason why these chassis companies are building multitude of chassis. But I just wonder when I always go, I mean, K10s always do better than C10s. I can't think of a time of going to Barrett where a K10, obviously 6772, two-tone, white, red, white, blue, white, orange, white, green,
yeah,
white,
yeah.
olive, medium olive. They seem like they always do better, better.
Yeah. And what I did notice, and part of it was like Darren's 67 was one of the few 67s to go across the block, I think. Um, me as a builder, I would prefer a 67 or 68 over 69 to 72 anyways, any day. I like the way they look. I like the whole front end. I love everything about it. It's just a cleaner truck to me. And especially when you detrim it, it looks fantastic, man. And that's why it did what it did, man. It's an all around awesome truck. And,
Well,
you
I'm
know,
glad Darren made all that money because he's got to pay you for the build you're working on right now. So
yeah,
tell
the,
that
the
tell that
Nova's,
tell that deadbeat to get you paid up. I am a little frustrated because I've been going to shows all over the valley for, I mean, who knows, 15, 20 years plus, and I never seen that truck. So we need him to get out more.
It was kept locked up, man, and I think brought it out at the right time, and it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's
so
awesome. Again, remind me of your shop, Dante.
it's Mario Fabworks.
Mario Fab. All right, dude. I'm gonna send you a shirt. I'll hook you up.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking time to come on.
Yes, sir. Let me figure out how to end
I
this
think
too now.
I got to do it. I got to go up here, and then I got to remove you, and then later, bro. All right. That was pretty cool. Let's see who else is coming in here. We got a couple other guys. Oh, shit. Let's get this one more. Let's see who we got. I think Hoagie said don't build K10s. Where'd he go? His comment was hilarious. Don't listen to these guys. C10s are coming back. Do not build a K. It'll be a waste of time. Oh, that's good. Let's see. I thought one more guy was trying to come in. I know Lucky Some Bitch is trying to come in. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, we got Lucky Some Bitch. Let's see what Chaz has got. Chaz has always got something to say. Let's see what we got. Except, trying to get these guys in. For me, I like lifted. Hey, C Soto crew, I tried to get you in. You disappeared on me. So, C Soto crew. Now we got Lucky Some Bitch. Chaz, we can't see you, dude. It's all dark. All right, yeah. Turn your light on. What do you got? What do you got?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
So, this has kind of been a topic of discussion with myself.
Hey, you sound like you're muffled a little bit. Clean out that speaker on that phone. All right. Oh, yeah, we got you. Loud
All
and
right.
clear.
So, this has kind of been a big topic of discussion for myself the last couple of weeks, even before Barrett. There was a post from a local guy here in the Valley that was a video of it was a Riddler winter build that was sold at Mecum auction in Kissimmee, Florida, just a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And in the video, he did a full description of the build and details of it, and he mentioned it was a $2.3 million build with a $300,000 paint and body job on it. It's a hand-built car from scratch, tube chassis, Tom Nelson engine, all the crazy stuff. And in the comments section, there's a bunch of dudes saying $300,000 paint and body job. There's no way. Like how is that even possible? And there's like a misconception, not only on that level of build, but a lower level, a more realistic level of build when it comes to build costs. And I've seen this even with Darren's $300,000 truck. After breaking down within those comments on that post, the hours invested, the math involved, hourly labor costs, all things combined, people started to go, oh, I understand now.
Yeah.
Because it all makes sense. The labor involved, the cost involved, things of that sort. So there seems to definitely be a big misconception with build cost on that. And in addition to that, a big point that I wanted to point out was something that Dan just mentioned a little bit ago. There are guys in the industry that lost money at this auction.
Oh, for sure.
One of the most notable to me, Sick Chops.
Oh, yeah, that truck. Well, he didn't lose the money. His customer did.
Yeah, I mean that truck sold for what was it? It was like 150. Yeah. And there's at least triple that in that build of that truck. I mean,
so for the audience, Sick Chops built like a Tri-5 truck. It's red. It's absolutely stunning. Paint, body, the full deal. And Sick Chops is a high level builder. And then somebody just popped in and said Lolita. I will say with Lolita, I don't know that Ricky lost money, but I tell you what, I don't think Ricky made a bunch of money on that truck. I'm going to say that he's right there on that cusp. Knowing Ricky and the way that he builds what he builds, I will say, and this is going back, and I don't expect you guys to all know this, but Ricky sold the Grinch, which was a 65 step side truck. He sold it. That guy that bought that sold it at Barrett like 3-4 years ago, and I think it went for like, oh my God, like $55,000. So there are plenty of people that are losing money, and like Chaz kind of said, once you break down, I don't care if it's a C10, I don't care if it's a Plymouth, I don't care if it's a I don't care what it is, right? It could be a car that you wouldn't even think somebody would want, right? But once you break down the hours and the time, it doesn't matter. So 85 an hour, 125 an hour, paint, body. I mean, look at Rod Parsons' carbon fiber truck. We're not even talking about that truck. Now that's a one of one truck, but when you think about the amount of work that goes into these trucks, so if you don't have that kind of disposable income, you could still buy a C10. That doesn't mean your
Right.
C10 is worth $100,000. You can still go buy a truck. You can still enjoy it. And the great thing about our community is you can have a $250,000 truck right next to a $15,000 truck, and you guys can drink beer, you can hang out, you can admire each other's shit, and that's what it's all about. But once you break down the hours and the time, it can be
Yeah,
pretty
like
crazy.
it's a lot like the guys we've seen at SEMA in recent years with the carbon fiber Chargers and Mustangs and stuff. Those guys are $750,000 deep in those bodies, and they're starting to produce them as truck bodies now. There's been an F100 done, now the C10. Just in the body by itself, you're almost $1 million into that build, not including a full tube chassis and everything else that these guys are doing.
Well, and the other thing too is we've seen this in the Bronco community before, where the Broncos get a little crazy, and they're probably just being driven around the mall to coffee, whatever it is. I don't care. It's their money, it's their build. They can do whatever. I got a buddy of mine who sells a lot of cars used, and he's got a Bronco on consignment that's a $350,000 Bronco. That's what the guy has in it. What the guy can't sell it. It's not being sold. So you can have something that's pretty high dollar and doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get to sell it. So, but it just depends.
On the flip side of the coin, though, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, just by watching the auction, you have guys that kind of, in a roundabout way, have quote unquote figured it out and have a method to building a car that succeeds at auction and succeeds above the build level. Maybe not all of them, but you look at Dan Hogan, his trucks. He's 3 years in a row now with his headlining truck that he showed up with selling for $400,000. And in addition to that, another guy that we saw that absolutely blew the top off of the auction and started the $1 million sales is Jeff Hayes. He's been doing a lot of Corvettes, the 63 to 67 year Corvettes, and some 55 to 57 body style Chevy trucks, all total resto mod modernized builds with very subtle, very simple modifications made to them, but super over the top high end quality and detail throughout. And he's been increasing his level of sales each and every year with his headlining cars, and finally hit $1 million with that champagne car on Saturday.
I think too, the other thing that's crazy, and you bring up a great point, is the dollar keeps exchanging and what's acceptable for these trucks, and not only just our trucks, right? But when you think about like 3-4 years ago, if a truck broke 100, it was a big deal. So again, I used to go through and I would break all this down. I should go back through my old posts. They're all on C10 Talk. I would go through Sunday, Monday. I would look at, okay, this was the number one seller, the top 10, and then the bottom 10 for C10s, K10s,
Right.
whatever, and the truck, there were every now and then there'd be like one or two that would break 100. It was usually a 71, 72, K10, nice little lift, something. And then that was kind of the big deal, right? Well, then all of a sudden we started getting into the 200s, then the 250s, then the 400s. Okay, and here's another thing that should be added to all this. You can't build, at least in my perspective, a SEMA build it's going to be hard to build it under 200. So when you factor in the labor, the cost just to get a car to SEMA, it makes sense why this stuff costs what it costs today and why it's selling for what it's selling, especially if somebody's got the money and they don't want to wait. So when we used to see stuff that was like 35 to 100, that was a big deal. Then it popped over 100, and now it's like, holy shit. Like we went like, I mean, it's crazy. We went like 150, boom, to 250, like that. And then obviously Dan and a few other guys have broke that 300 level mark, and obviously even the 400 level mark. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, but all right, Chaz, I'm gonna jump in. I got like 3 other guys waiting. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, buddy.
See you, buddy. All right, who else we got here waiting? Let's see what else. Got some good comments, I'll tell you that. Let's go, Danny. See if Danny's still out there. Hey, Fisher, you need to come in. You keep commenting. We got to get you in. Where'd Danny go? Danny's still out there? Except he might be gone by now. Danny. What else we got? We got Minty. No non-money question. Are there car transports lining the streets? 1,000 car trailers brought into the area. Logistics of getting them in and out. So yeah, reliable is usually that's a good question. Reliable is usually the go-to on that, and they are usually pretty well lining the streets. So all right, Fisher, we got you, bro. He's coming in. Good question though. Whether or not these how do these cars? What's up, bro?
What's happening?
Yeah, dude, I love it. You're piping in. So what's your perspective on all this?
So I'm new to all this. I don't know how to flip the camera. So I'm building one now. It's an 80 C10. This big money stuff's new to me.
Yeah.
Doing it on my own, sure, you're going to save a lot of money, but you're not going to get the results as another shop. They've done so many of them. They know what needs to be done, what corners they can't cut, how to perfect everything from just the line routing to the way the steel looks on the frame, how things are mounted. I guess I'm not surprised that the big money's coming from big builders. Even if somebody gave me a blank check and said, go buy all the best parts you can, a full-blown chassis, brand new engine, tranny, rear end, everything, all new interior. I could put it together, but it's going to sell a whole lot less than I think, at least than, say, a big reputable name shop, because they know what they're doing. Sure, I can bolt things together, but there's a lot of finesse in all this.
Yeah, you nailed it. Very well said. And the other thing too is they're going to get it done in a timely fashion. Yeah. So maybe if you're retired, but like you said, a one-man, one-legged man at a kicking contest, they've got it down to kind of like a home builder, right? I always look at building stuff, building trucks, building cars like building a home. One guy can build a home. It's going to take you a long time. And that's why they have barn raisings. That's why they have people. You got a plumber who's a professional, and the amount of time it's going to take you to figure everything out. So you're doing it all. You're having fun. It's therapy. Right. But at the same time, and ironically, you probably are going to spend a little bit more than said builder. So pick a builder who's got an account and get a wholesale Dakota Digital, wholesale Bolt.
Sure.
They're getting all kinds of things. Oh,
yeah.
You're actually going to probably pay a little bit more, and yours is going to be worth less when it's all said and done, because you don't have that, that, whether it's prestige, you don't have that reputable,
just don't have
so on and so forth.
And I don't have the knowledge,
Yeah.
I won't, it's, you do it so much, like airplanes. I work on airplanes. That's the majority of my work. I can go through an airplane, fix an airplane, build an airplane, no problem. But you try to bring somebody in, or somebody says, hey, I want to build one, and they go buy a kit. It's just going to take them too long. They're going to spend way too much money.
I'm not getting in that plane, bro.
And then, yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, so anyways, I think it's all cool. I'm happy for everybody. It's just kind of hard to understand, because I've never walked into a shop and said, hey, this is what I want. How much you going to charge me? And I don't know that they can give you a number. They might say, we'll work on it for 6 months. You're going to give me a check for this much. And at the end of 6 months, we'll regroup, see where we're at, and give me another check,
What a fantastic point. When you buy a truck at the auction, and again, I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, but when you buy a truck at auction, you know what you're paying. Now, you might not know exactly what you're getting, and you might not be getting exactly what you want, like if you went into a shop. But what's pretty crazy, I like the way you said that, is a lot of the guys that are builders that are in this industry, they bill every week and or every other week. So, hey, this is what you got. And it's custom work. There's problems. And they're not going to say, well, you can't do a change order because you quoted me this much. Those builders and that customer know hey, if I find something, I'm gonna have to let you know. It doesn't mean I'm gonna be a crook,
Sure.
but you're
Right.
gonna get a bill
Yeah.
on Friday
Their
or
time is worth
next Friday.
their time. They gotta cover their time.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't stand around for 8 hours and not get billed for it. You know, overhead, employees, just shop supplies. You know, it all adds up.
Yeah, for
So
sure. All right, when you coming back out? When's the next time we get to see you?
I'm gonna try to get this truck to the reunion next year.
Okay.
So we'll see if I get it done.
Okay. All right,
That's
brother.
my
We
plan.
appreciate you taking time and coming
See ya.
on. Okay. See you, bro. What a good dude. Ran into him, I think, at the Get Down. I'm trying to think, it was the Good Guys or the Get Down a few years back. Let's see. I got El Moto coming in here. Let's see what he wants to do. He wants to go live. See what he's got to say. I've been seeing a few. All right, we got Vocal in now, so interesting to see. Like, they sold their truck for 300. Paying 300 is awesome. Turnkey right in the game. Rectified. He sees some pretty high stuff. I thought I got somebody else coming in here. Danny, you're not coming in. I'm not sure what's going on. I keep accepting you. I keep picking you for the kickball team, and you're not coming on over to the team. So we'll give you a second here and see what's up. Where did you shoot that deer, Von Sol? That deer, there's two of them. There's two of them there. One is 24B, and one, oh no, they're both from 24B. That's my little spot. And then that guy right there is from Unit 8. And then all the elk are downstairs. I should take all you guys down there. You guys would shit your pants. All right, so let's see here. I keep trying to get El Moto. One more time, El Moto, and then I'm going to Ken Reed. Let's see here. El Moto. Where you at? I thought we had Big Scott Nelson in there for a little bit. I don't know. He might have popped in and piped out. Okay, we're going Ken. Hey, Danny Rodriguez, I've tried multiple times to get you in. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful, but I tried, man. Yeah, we met at SEMA 2023, talked a little about Bronco. I worked for Adam. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, so, all right, I'm going to Ken. I can't get Danny in. All right, Ken. Ken just popped in, so let's go. There's Scotty too, hottie. I thought I saw him. All right, Ken, what do you got, big dog?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for coming in.
Right on. Hey, I'm one of these no-name builders. I'm building a little C28 67 known as the C28.
Okay.
It's got a Camaro replica front end on it. So
what style?
And
Camaro? What year?
67.
Okay. Now, have you ever? I don't want to burst your bubble, but have you ever heard of a guy named Chip Foose?
Oh yeah, I sure have.
Did you
I sure
see that?
have. In fact, my guy that did my rendering for me, I hate to say, Chip Foose is a big celebrity, and so when he sees something out there, if you don't have it protected or hidden, he's gonna snatch it. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what happened. The C28 was snatched.
Yeah, Chad Canning did a rendering for me for like 9 years ago, and it hit the interweb, and everybody liked the look of it. And it's just taken so long. We finally got a lot of the metal work done. We're getting to the point now where we're doing the rear of the bed with fake. I hate to say fake wood, but it's from the guys out of Georgia, that Rocky Roads rod shop. And so, anyways, we're getting down to the end of it. We're getting to the painting process. And I sat and watched on Meekum where guys were spending $300,000 on trucks. And you know what? I can understand that, because by the time it's said and done, I'll have that in my truck without a problem.
Wow.
And it would have been nice to purchase something that was already done, because it's taken, I've got this build and I've been working on it for 6 years now. And so this last year we put it in high gear and done a lot of custom metal work on it. We got the front end all put together. It looks really good. We got all of our emblems done. But now we're getting ready for the paint work. And so I understand that by the time you finish a professional build out and you get it painted and you get everything hooked up, we got a Porterbuilt air chassis on it. And so 632 motor inside there.
And you got your motor? Because I know guys were waiting on those.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough when I ordered my motor, there was some in inventory. So I ended up getting a long block, but I could get it. So I just went ahead and finished it out with the Holley products and the Edelbrock intake and all that fun stuff. It's not 1,000 horsepower, but you know what? In that little bitty light truck, 900 horsepower do the trick, you know. But I went a different way other than what everybody else has been going with the LS motors, just to be different. But I can see why people have dropped $300,000 on it. It saves you the stress. Man, building this truck's been nothing but stress when I'm having to pay another shop to build it, you know?
Yeah.
So I can understand, and I can understand why they're worth that. I understand why people would pay that.
So would you say, Ken, that you've kind of envisioned it and then you're paying another shop, or would you say that you're in that fight? Like, how much are you doing and how much are they doing?
I've got them doing 100% for me. It's a shop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a shop in Alabama that's taking care of it for me. They're doing a fair, good job. You know, if I would have known that I could have purchased a cab that was brand new versus roasted out, because you know I've got probably $35,000 to $40,000 in fixing the cab. If I would have known, you know, I would have went ahead and just bought a cab, been done with it, and saved myself that money. But yeah, that's kind of the way it is. You know, if you go to a big dollar shop, you're going to pay big dollars to get your dreams made for you. And, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm a contractor, so I've got to work to be able to pay my bills. So I don't have time to be able to work on it in the shop or in my own shop. We built a lifted truck that won 8 or 9 world titles through Mecca. And that kind of got me involved in it and purchased that C10. But it was a C10 that was supposed to be a good C10. I'm sure a lot of guys have ran into that, where they buy a C10 that you think that's in good shape until you blow it apart. And then you realize how roasted things are. So yeah, I can understand why people are spending $300,000, because by the time you're through with it, you know, you're at that figure anyways. And like I said, we started on the project like 8-9 years ago. Rendering was about 9 years ago. And but this last year we've been turning on burning on it quite a bit, but we're not there yet. And so it would have been nice to buy something that was done.
The hard part too, Ken, is that it's like a youth thing. You know, I was just talking to a guy at work the other day. He's got a stock chassis in a 68 that he's building, and he said, "Man, I wish I would have just pulled the trigger and bought a chassis," because he has probably the world's nicest stock chassis. It's all been redone, but he's like, I'm into it almost as much. And if I ever go to sell it or anything, I've got X amount of dollars in a stock chassis, and you know, I could have had the name brand chassis, and it wouldn't have to wait as long. So usually we don't have the money. Hey, somebody just said hi to you, Ken. Let's see, who was it? Owen. Hello, Ken. Haven't seen you since Kentucky, brother. So your buddy's on there. So we're a small world. We think we're big world, but we're small world. So I think the point being is sometimes you don't have that kind of disposable income, that $300,000, and you got to do it the hard way. But like you said, if you could, in a perfect world, if you could just drop 300 on a truck, you'd be good to go.
That's exactly right, bro. So I understand why people are doing what they're doing. And there was some good trucks that were sold for, in my opinion, real good money. You know, $160,000 trucks. It's real good money, you know, for what they got. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I appreciate everything you do for the C10 community. You really helped me out by me listening to your podcast, and the people that you're involved with. It's been able to allow me to hook up with them to gain knowledge. Like Jason Van Netta, you know, he's helped me out quite a bit on the project that we got. So, you know, you kind of are the king of the C10 world.
I appreciate that, Ken. What's your social where we can follow you so I can check out this build?
You can check. I post a lot of stuff at the L5P project.
Yep.
It's L5-P project on Instagram, or you can find me Ken Reed on Facebook. You know, but it has that C10 project that we've been working on. It also has another truck that we built that we won multiple world championships with, and so. We just keep throwing money away. One day we hope we'll have a really nice build that will make it in a magazine, maybe, who knows, or hopefully we won't wrap it around a tree since we got that big motor in it, but you never can tell, you know. It's been fun.
Hey, I tell you what, I want to thank you for taking time to tune in. I want to thank you for taking the time to you know, come on with us, and I appreciate you listening. I can't wait to check out your truck, brother.
Hey, thank you, buddy. You have a good evening. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
All right, let's see if we can get one more time here. I keep seeing. So his is L5P, then Project L5P. I just saw it there. So one more time, let's see who I got. I spent $10K on a failed build chassis, front Lowboy Motorsports and chop and block rear, all said and done with powder coating. Could almost have bought a complete finished chassis, not to mention the 65. Yeah. All right, El Moto, one more time. Let's see if we get him. Oh, let's see. Man, I think he just in space there because I kept trying to bring him in. Danny, where you at? Okay. I just don't think I'm going to get him. What else was I going to say? I think all in all, if anybody else wants to come in, if not, we'll wrap it up. But I think we did about an hour, which is pretty cool. I'm going to start trying to keep doing these more and more. Obviously, we got some fun things for 2024 for the pod. You've been seeing more video posts. I do have just kind of, I got Jim coming on. So I've already recorded this, a great book. If you guys are out there and you're thinking about buying a truck or building a truck, this thing is amazing. So if you don't know Jim, he's been on a few times. Jim Pickering, he goes by Pick _ Jim. And we've got the pod, should drop this week. So this is a really good one that we've recorded. So that's 279, I think. And then I'll have some interviews from Barrett Jackson. I'll have that I was there. I interviewed a bunch of the guys in the Cup. So I'll probably drop that next week. And then I got Big Mike Brooks. I'm going to end up pushing him because of the Barrett Jackson. And then I'm going to get this guy on too, how to do an LS LT swap. I mean, between these two, you guys can build your own truck, all right, within reason. And Jim's already done a square body one as well. All right, I see you, Danny. One more time. I'll keep trying, but I don't know what's going on with your phone. Let's go live with El Moto. It keeps saying it, but it's just not working. So I know you guys probably aren't a bunch of hunters, but you guys will laugh here. So let's go. About to watch Super Saturday, Barrett. It's on my DVR. Let's see here. We got Big Mike there. Big Mike, you might get pushed just because I got so much damn content. I need an invite to SEMA rectified. Let's go down on for the random hunters in the group. You guys are gonna be like, what in the hell? The shop's a mess, but finally got our edition. I'll do a little video and got some dead animals here. So let's see here. 22 South. That's a 22 South. That's a 4B bull. That's a unit 4B bull. And that's a unit 8 bull. Archery, muzzle, center, muzzle. So, yeah. I got another one up there somewhere in unit 8 with an arrow stuck in the shoulder. But yeah, this is the old exterior part of the shop, and then we did this addition. So it's 12.5 feet. Got the vault. A lot of the stuff that was in the shop will get pushed over here. We're trying to get it, might get it cleaned up. So this was an old window, and now it's a door. So kind of works out. But in the middle of finishing it all off. But so yeah, let me see if I can switch this. Everything's a mess. But this is my son's 66. So this is a stock chassis. Speaking about chassis, you know, pretty crazy. Kid ain't got the money, right? So we just got to get it all done. Hey, Hoagie, thanks for coming on. For everybody, I'll wrap up the pod and then I'll finish the shop tour here real quick. But thanks for coming on. I'm going to keep trying to do more of these. These are obviously a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys jumping on. And then, you know, like I said, fire away if you think that there's more we need to do. If you want to do Ronnie's rants or one of these lives and keep doing them, you got a topic that we need to get to. This was obviously a hot topic that everybody was really fired up about. And I just think that I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying that there is a lot of information and misinformation that happens. So I'm really glad that Dante came on. Dante, thank you so much for doing that, because that truck did take a beating, or at least the buyer, he took a beating. So Brandon, I hope to meet you someday. I hope to see that truck if it stayed local. Another one that if hopefully it stayed local is obviously Square Peg. And then don't forget, so we are sold out for the reunion. The reunion is March 23rd of 24, downtown Chandler. We were able to do 600 trucks, and we're super stoked about that. I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm going to work on getting a secondary hotel, because our host hotel is sold out. So at least for the lower rate that we had. And then there's another hotel right next door. So I'm going to see if I can't get another deal on that other hotel. So, all right, guys. For everybody else, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, that's really it. Shop tour stuff. Still working on some stuff. You got the workbench here. P-Dogs. You know, my son's a wild man, so we got a few different things going on. Working on the 66, and I need to get this thing cleaned up so I can start wrapping up some stuff in here. I'm gonna go to eat some dinner right now. El Moto, I tried like crazy. I think I tried like 4 times to get you in. I appreciate it, you guys. Have a great night. Late.